Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome in. It's nice to see you. If you are back, welcome back. I missed you guys. And let's see, there's lots of titterings and tatterings and underrings in the collective right now. So I want to tap into that. Let's see. I'm going to go with my tarot to start with, just to sort of see where we are at. See what's going on with you guys. See if we can get some direction. You might need some direction. You might need some clarity. Things might feel a little muddied, a little murky, a little confusing right now. So let us grab some tarot and try to sort that out. If you hear it scratching, it is my cat. You know, he hates a closed door, but or some small meows. Okay, let us grab some cards. Oh my god, so many fell out. So many fell out. Ugh. Too many. Let's try that again. I feel the need to ask you how you are. How are you guys doing? How are you? What's going on with you guys? Okay. We have the Empress. Okay, fun way to start. So maybe you are not feeling particularly empressy. I'm feeling this like disconnect between you and yourself, maybe. Let's grab these cards. Okay. We have Page of Cups, interesting. We have a Knight of Summer or Knight of Wands, and Three of Summer or Three of Wands. Okay, so there's something about travel. There's something about gift. I'm getting a gift. Have you been gifted a vacation? Have you been gifted travel? For a lot of you, I feel like this might not be a physical movement. For some of you, it might be like, I don't want to say astral travel. For some of you, it might be astral travel. For some of you, it might be like traveling in a sense of away from a different lifestyle, if that makes sense, or if that vibes with you guys, if that makes sense to you. Traveling away from how you live your life. It might even be, for some of you, getting a new job. Three of Cups as well here. We have Three of Summer, Three of Cups. Page of Cups is interesting. Has someone recently reached out to you with some kind of emotional proposal, whether that be like a relationship or a friendship, or there's something about a surprise here. I think I need to narrow things down. So let me grab some cards. I'm gonna grab the Moonology cards for some narrowing down of these messages. I'm getting like a lot. Are you guys very busy right now? Perhaps. I feel like I need to take a deep breath. This Three of Cups is interesting because there is a feeling of celebration with the Three of Cups, right? Like people around you are celebrating. I feel like there's a bittersweet element to this celebration. Maybe some of you are leaving behind some relationships and seeking new relationships, or I don't know. It's interesting. I feel very discombobulated all over the place. Be bold and make the first move. Maybe this is a love reading. Maybe you've been kind of reevaluating everything. Reevaluating your friendships, reevaluating your job, reevaluating your current life. And maybe you also feel discombobulated. There's something, some sort of perhaps like dream or like type of life that you envision in the far future, but you feel like you're very far from that right now. And that something needs to happen in order for you to be able to reach that life. Yeah, we have conclusions are within reach. So you might be very confused. You might be in a kind of in-between time. With this Page of Winter and this Three of Winter, I feel very much like I'm getting just this message of like wrong. Like maybe it's like you've met someone, but it's the wrong time, or you're afraid it's the wrong time, or it's like you're very happy with what you have, but it doesn't feel like it's enough. And maybe that feels bad or scary to you, like you're not grateful enough. But I think that that's wrong. A win-win outcome is forecast. So this full moon eclipse plus this full moon makes me think that you feel very in the dark about a situation, about a relationship situation. And I'm not sure if it's because you're reevaluating things or if you're waiting on the waiting end of someone, but that's maybe why you need to be the one who makes the first move. I just saw 555. So there's something about change. There's something about movement. I think that if you are disappointed because someone hasn't reached out to you first, and that's maybe what you've been waiting on, I would recommend reaching out to them. Yeah, that's definitely a big one for me. Because I feel like that might be what's keeping you, like the no or the wrong is like, you maybe had a set idea of how this relationship would go, or these relationships would go, perhaps, like the order, or like what your normal order is like, and they reach out to me and then I reach out back. But maybe you're afraid of making the first move, or you just didn't think about that as an option, or it's just like not the normal order of operations for you, and maybe that's what sets this person apart in a positive way, because this win-win outcome is forecast is very interesting. This reading is also very purple, so if purple is on your mind or in relation to this person or your relationships, I think you might be very in your head about this person or about this situation. And there's this reminder to ground yourself in your Empress energy, which is like, you know, it's a people energy. It's a very much like knowledge of your own power, your own mysticism, your own ability to navigate this situation for sure. A time for healing. I think maybe for some of you, this relationship is, or this potential relationship perhaps, is kind of scary. Because it might be like nothing you've ever known before. And to you, that can feel really scary because it could lead to some healing. It could lead to some conflict that leads to healing. So maybe you're in the midst of conflict with someone you're close to or people you're close to. And that could be why you feel like you're contemplating things. For some of you, there's this message of forget what you think you deserve, and that's not a negative message. It's like, if you are worried you don't deserve this level of attention or kindness or whatever it is, that is wrong. You are very much deserving of whatever this relationship is bringing you that you think is like too good to be true, and it's not too good to be true, and this won't disappear, and the other shoe won't drop, and you won't find out that this person is like secretly evil or something. I think that for most of you, this is like a very good thing. You're just afraid of the worst because of other situations or relationships you've experienced. What else? There's something else here. Because it doesn't feel like it's just the relationship. There's like, let me see if I can. I'm going to actually pull some love cards and see what the love oracle says about this. Because I think maybe that's why you want some clarity. You came here for clarity of like, is this a good relationship? Is this a good move? Am I making the right move? And I think that's kind of where this spiritual like journey, or this like, you know, spiritual travel is coming from. And for some of you, if this is like a soulmate connection, it could be that like you haven't met this person yet, but you feel pulled to them on like a soul level. And that's maybe where this like, you know, knowing someone's like soul is different than knowing someone in reality. So let me, where the travel aspect is coming from. Let me grab a couple of these. Maybe some of you just like are really worried about this love call. Yeah. Okay, so let me pull 2 more cards and then I will reveal what I'm getting with that. Because I think for some of you, you are just completely worried that your feelings will not be reciprocated, and that's a big problem for you. Axe. Stop the pattern is a big one for this one. Breakup, separation. So for some of you, ooh, okay, complicated things. And then mask. Yeah, I'm gonna pull 1 more for sure. Okay. Okay, that's way more than 1 more. Can I actually get 1 more message, please? Hand of Cards. Take a chance. Okay, so being strategic, options. I think for some of you, there is this message of fear around relationships in general. And I think that there has maybe been some behavior on your part or on the other person's part. It could be either. I think this might be like a mirror situation for a lot of you as well. You might be very similar or have had similar experiences. But I think a lot of you might struggle with vulnerability because of the fact that you've been burned in the past. And there is definitely this message here that you're getting in your head a bit about this relationship or this possible relationship, right? And so I think that there is this fear that there will be a pattern that's repeating itself. Perhaps you haven't been in the best relationships. And so I think there is been this need for you to like hide your true feelings or like, you know, hold your cards close to your chest, you maybe not have been very honest about how you're feeling about this person for fear that like, you know, things might repeat again. And so there is this message that like, yeah, like this is the thing you want. This is the thing you've been waiting for. This is the person or people you've been waiting for. Something about this is surprising and scares you in a way that like you were not expecting. And I think that for a lot of you, this came out of nowhere. And this is something very unexpected, or something, the way you met is very unexpected, or something similar to that. But there is this message of like, you don't need to hide, right? You don't need to hide because who you are is who this person will love. Who you are is who these people will love. And like, you do not need to hide away or make yourself smaller or make yourself fit in order to be loved and cared for. And being open and vulnerable is the only way to progress this relationship. Being honest and open and vulnerable is the only way to progress this relationship. And it will be 100% worth it. Like, I think that's really what this message is. It's pretty short. It's pretty sweet that like, there is a lot of love here and a lot of care and a lot of detailed care. Like, I'm getting that that's something about being hung up on details is like, in the past, maybe you felt like you've expected too much from people because they haven't been able to care about you in a detailed way, which I'm not really sure what that entails, but you'll know if this is about you. But this relationship, you'll be loved right down to the details, the smallest of details. And maybe you've been like manifesting a person, and that's really what the details are about. Yeah, I'm gonna pull a few more cards, and see what else there is. But I think that this was kind of straightforward because I think you guys were kind of just like looking for confirmation whether or not this was this person, whether or not these feelings were real or in your head. They're not just in your head. But you might have to make the first move. That person or people that you want to connect with, they might not make the first move. So, and you maybe have never done that before, or that might be something that like really scares you. and you've been trying to put off, and you've been trying to like brush off that you have feelings for them, or like not act like you or have feelings for them when you're with them, just in case like you come off as too clingy or whatever. But you really can't. This person loves you right down to the tiniest of details. Like it is for real. Growth for sure. And I think a lot of you might recognize that like this might feel a little bit silly. Like there is this message of growth that like the logical side of you has maybe grown. When we do healing, there's always this gap between what we logically know to do and what our subconscious still hasn't caught up with, because we can heal the logical part, right? We can say, oh, I've unlearned this, and now I know that like this is an irrational feeling. But that doesn't stop the irrational feelings from happening until we can like retrain our nervous systems to not be activated when these fears come up. And that looks like healing with a group. That looks like healing in relationship. So you can do this aspect, the logical healing part, by yourself, but sometimes there are some things that we can't heal fully from until we can prove to ourselves or prove to our nervous system or our inner children or whatever it might be that situations that look like the past but are safe now. So until we can prove to our nervous system that these situations, that these people are safe to be around, that the past won't repeat itself, it might feel very scary to you. And that fear is real. You know what I mean? Like it does prevent us from taking the next step. And that might be an aspect of why this feels so scary for you. Can I get like two more cards actually, please? Okay, I have a dream and a foundation. Okay, these are really important cards. There is this message that you are afraid, which is really interesting. You're afraid that if this person or these people feel too much like the dream version of what you've been looking for your whole life, like if you've been looking for this type of connection your whole life, the more it feels like that dream, the more scary it might feel. Like the more it's exactly the type of person you've been manifesting, or exactly the type of people you've always dreamt of having or always felt like you've wanted to meet, the more on the nose that is, the more scary it might be for you. Which, it's interesting, right? But it's like, it's almost so real that it feels fake. But that is when we remember our foundation. So I think that you have done a lot of healing work. I think that you have done a lot of self work and shadow work. And there is remembering that foundation of things that we built for ourselves. The ways that, you know, the boundaries we have, the boundaries we set, and also just like building a strong foundation within those relationships or within that relationship, right? So making sure that your relationship isn't just built upon those fantasies that you've created in your mind, or those things that you're trying to manifest, but making sure there's a very strong foundation of communication, that you have the same that you both want the same things, or all want the same things out of this relationship, out of your life moving forward. All of those things are just as important as these other things. So just like make sure, you know, that you're doing your due diligence and you are setting up a very strong foundation in this relationship. I think that this is kind of a no-brainer for a lot of you. I think that for many of you, this has already been established. And so this is just kind of coming in to be like, the dream part isn't bad. Like, it's not like, that's not a sign that this is all fake, that this is like something you're making up, or like you're just gonna throw away your boundaries or whatever for this like dream version of this person, or you're putting someone on a pedestal or that kind of thing. This is very much to say, like, this is a very real possibility that all of these things are just what you've wanted, but also just make sure that you have a very strong foundation. And I think that for most of you, you already do. It's just a reminder that, like, if you don't have a strong foundation, that's where things start to go awry. But the fact that you do, or the fact that you know how to build one, or that that's a priority for you, that is kind of proof that, like, this is what it seems. Like, this is the goodness. This is the end goal. This is, like, what you've been manifesting, right? So go for it. Reach out for it. Make the first move, my friend. And then one more deck. One more, probably a couple more, 2 more messages, I think, from the Mushroom Tarot. Just final messages, final things. Okay. Yeah. This is it, baby. Like, I think that you've been kind of in your head and feeling kind of crazy about this, and I think that the Empress card is important to remind you to just, like, go remember who you are. Like, remember who the fuck you are, right? Like, don't let this crush or this desire to be close to this person or these people, you know, you're still the same bad bitch you've always been, even if you're feeling like a little schoolgirl, regardless of gender. So let's see, we have Wheel of Fortune. Okay, yeah, and then can I get one more, please? Okay, and the Fool. I love that. I love that. Okay, yeah, I really love these cards because there's this message that, like, the wheel is turning in your favor, right? Like, it's your turn. It's your time. It's, you get this. Like, it's very much the, this is gonna sound crazy, but, like, to some of you especially, like, never the bride, always the bridesmaid kind of thing. Like, you get to be the bride now. I'm not saying all of you want to get married, but, like, or even that this is a love reading for everyone, but, like, that's the vibe. It's like, it's your turn to be the main event, to be the thing that you want, to get the thing that you want, to have it all. And the Fool, this is, yeah, it's a new journey, and that's maybe why you feel like these footsteps are rocky and scary, is because this is new. It's sort of like there is this asking of you to really, like, take that first step into the void, like the Fool does, into the nothingness. Enjoy the crush, enjoy the new, like, bubbly feelings of a new friendship or a new relationship or whatever it might be. You know, really enjoy that and really, like, take those first steps. Be bold, take the first move, because, like I said, I think that anything you've worked yourself up about is really just, like, you know, it's really not gonna, it's not gonna pan out the way you fear it will pan out. But I am getting one final message, and that is of patience. I'm sorry, my nose is so itchy. Ugh. There's this message of patience that was very funny. My suction cup, my hand suction cup. Anyway, apparently patience for getting this message, Jesus. There's one final message of patience, and that is to say that I think maybe for some of you, this person, because it's like a mirror situation, that's why the mirror was coming up, they might also have the same reservations that you do. So if they feel a little scared or a little skittish or, like, a little, like, hiding behind a mask of their own, have patience with that. I don't think it will last very long, and I definitely think you probably will have the patience for it. But just remember that, like, they're also a person, right? And they also have likely experienced similar things or their own kind of stuff, their own bad relationships. So just be patient with them, maybe coming out of their shell. And I think they will also have patience with you regarding the same kind of energy. So yeah, that is what I'm seeing for you guys. Good luck in all of this. Thank you for being here and letting me read for you. It is wonderful as always, and I will see you guys around here when our vibes vibe together again. Until then, bye. I love you.